Morgan, the Next Advenger, by Dylan's Little Hobbies.
Chapter 5. Several security guards ran in to see what was happening. The men in armor made quick work of them, shooting them down while the suits did cover most of their bodies. It was more like they
were wearing medieval night suits more than anything else, as one had his hands free with no gloves. Another you could see was wearing plain boots with little rockets on their heels. They were not complete armors, but they were scary in action nonetheless. The leader raised his right hand, and one of them ran to the computers. Judging by the fingernails, it was a girl. She quickly hacked into computers trying to steal data. The leader waved his left hand, and the other armored man went straight for Pepper.
Kate Bishop quickly shot a few stunner rolls. They hit their target dead on, but did not do any damage. She then turned to Pepper. "We need to get you out of here." She grabbed a hold of Pepper,
threw an explosive arrow, and swung her down through the floor, hopefully to safety. Meanwhile, Morgan and several others ran out the room down the fire escapes. "More armored freaks!" she yelled as she saw more of them show up. A total of 5 of them now tore through the gates. They did not have the ability to fly, but it didn't matter. 7 security guards were shot as the trucks came in. Then from the left and front sides, large groups of people stormed into the rucks and stole its cargo. As the iron suits walked around, patrolling the crime scene, taking out guards, the leader flew up and shot more of the windows, scaring people down. You could hear in a big robotic voice him say, "Bring me Miss Stark and get the files." While all this commotion was going on, Sean and Happy ducked and dodged the oncoming 3 trying to get at Morgan.
Kate grabbed more arrows and shot at several of the iron suits, but were unsuccessful in determining them. Happy and Sean got to Morgan as she got past the last foot of the fire escape, with several
others scared out of their mind as Kate Bishop shot several arrows trying to stop them from destroying the building. The leader swooped down and grabbed Pepper. "Gotta do everything myself," he said in a robotic voice. He then flew her up high in the air. Morgan called see her mom screaming from up in the air. A helicopter flew in, and the armored leader set her at the helicopter and said quite as he bandaged her with his iron glove, knocking her unconscious. The armored man then came flying down and landed right in front of Morgan, Happy and Sean. Morgan was scared, but her adrenaline was pumping. She ran to him screaming, "Give me my mom, give me my mom." The armored man just raised his gun. Morgan.
Happy shouted and jumped in front of her. Several bullets hit Happy in the chest. "Happy," Morgan cried. "Whoa, hey, that's not the plan,"
Sean said as he went up to the armored man. "Plan," Morgan said, crying. The armored man took off his helmet, revealing its power to be none other than Sean's brother, Mr. Cass. Cass, Morgan said in tears. "You haven't been at school in a month, Miss Stark. I hear dropped out working for your mom. How's that going? Life be treating you well," he said, as if this was a reunion of a student and teacher at the back-to-school night after summer.
Morgan still crushed down over Happy. "You tried to," she said, crying her eyes out. "You, Happy, you see, Miss Stark, all of this is because of your father. I'm going to kill him, and I
might as well kill you. That wasn't the plan, Nathan." Sean yelled, tears swelling in his cheek. "You were taking too long to getting comfortable with Stark Industries. So you, boy, felt good, didn't it?" he said with a smile. "But every day you wasted, more people starved." Sean yelled back. "The plan was just to scare them out of the building, take the files and get out. We weren't supposed to hurt anyone. We could get the files without a Stark who has access to them. We got it." Marquez said it. "Everyone else is just collateral damage for a true goal. Don't tell me you lost your way, brother." Sean stepped back of his brother. "Don't forget who raised you, who cared for you, and who is going to save this world with you," Marquez said. Sean looked at Happy. He remembered the
past month he spent under Happy. "I'm sorry, Happy. I'm so sorry, Happy," he said. He tried to help Morgan up. Morgan pushed him away. "You can still join us," he said. Marquez left. "She was never going to join us, kid." Morgan, shaking her head, tried to walk away. Nathan handed Sean his gun and said, "Finish it." He took the gun and looked at Morgan. He was shaking with tears in his eyes. Nathan just grinning. Kate Bishop then swung in on a rope connected to an arrow. She grabbed Morgan and shot a smoke screen roll at them. Night fell upon the tower. Victory, someone showed it to the raiders in the now destroyed building of Stark Industries were throwing a party. Victory indeed, Zencast said.
Amused at this, Sean stood by his side as ever. All right, people, now thanks to Ms. Stark help here, we now have the files and all the equipment to put together a working time matchup. As he shouts, the crowd cheers. It will be done within the next week. In the meantime, we will have several copes and heroes on our tail.
So Gerduni and the suits are a necessary thing. Deploy all 12 of them. I want all to switch out on 8-hour shifts. Don't let anyone in. Don't let anyone stop us, not when we're so close. The Crimson Dynamos will save this world. He said as raises his bottle. They all shout and cheer, yeah.
Now before we go back in time, we need to talk targets. There are 6 in total we could go after. The crowd stood White first, Black Widow. We don't know where she's at. Huck would be the easiest, but his whereabouts are also unknown. There's a God of Thunder, we can hope to take him down. And don't even joke about the Hulk. Captain America at this time is on the run. Why we could track him down, he won't be easy to find, not to take down being a super soldier. He is just human, but it would be tricky. No, our target is someone we do know the whereabouts. Our target is one who invented it all in the first place. He posed for a dramatic effect. Our target is Stark. Now he's got his armor with him, but he doesn't have that with him 24/7. We just need to take him out when he's on his morning jog, and Thanos will win the day. They all showed yay. Up, you all got an hour to party, then get at work. Nathan walked over to a back room closet as shown fallout. As they head into the large room, and he opens up the closet, Pepper citing they're tied up. Brother, you can be serious about killing Stark. Things change, Sean. Look, I'm sorry, Oak. If we're going to change this world, some sacrifices have to be made. Nathan replied, what are we going to do to her? Sean asked, nothing. Once Stark is dead and the pasture's no use. Same thing with her daugter. Then why almost kill her then? Sean yelled. That's why Nathan said, too close to the situation is all. You're too close to the situation. Now get out there and help build the time machine. Sean, a bit dazed at his brother's actions, just agreed and left the room. As Nathan Cass looked at the files from Stark Industries. As night fell on the city, Kate Bishop walked into a hotel room with lots of hamburgers from Burger King. In the back, sitting on the bed, staring out into space at Morgan. She didn't even flinch when Kate walked into the door. Okay, they're doing burgers just like you asked for. I can at least eat one right. She said as she unwrapped the cheeseburger and ate it. Morgan did not even budge. Kate just sat down. Yeah, they've been there. Turns out my mom was a villain too. I should have figured this out sooner. I shouldn't have trusted Sean. I didn't, but I shouldn't have let Happy. She slowly blinked. Happy. It's going to be all right, Morgan. Kate said, grabbing a bag, walking over to her. Now, what would Happy want you to do right now? What would he say? Morgan only turned her head away from Kate and the bag of cheeseburgers. You know, I read all about your father. He was a true human hero. Morgan expression turned mad. You got up and pushed Kate away. I don't want to hear one thing about that man. He went and died. And now Happy as Kate just stood there for a second. You know, there was once upon a time a little team, one I believe Stark was a part of, the Happy, the man that raised you ever since your father died. Believe it, now look at me. Morgan just shook her head and was starting to cry. You can either sit here and lose your mind, do nothing as the world is in danger, or you can do what Happy would do. He protected you as your bodyguard. He gave his life because he had full faith in you. Do what your father before him did.
They trusted their future with you, so how are you going to pay them back? She started walking away. Kate grabbed her by the left arm. Are you going to let them lose, or are you going to avenge their death?
And save the future of the world they entrusted you. Morgan was fed up. She pulled her arm out of Kate's grip. How am I supposed to? She then for a moment got an idea. I don't know, Ms. Stark. Figure it out, Kate said with a smile. In the meantime, I'm going to eat another burger. Morgan laughed a little. She snatched the burgers from Kate's grasp. Sorry, but I'm going to need these. She then looked at the tablet sticking out of her purse. And one more thing she said to Kate. Kate Bishop just smiled and nodded. I'm going to need you to drive me somewhere, Morgan told her. They quickly got into a car and drove to a cabin in the woods. Hey, God, I haven't been here in years. Not since my father died. Oh, so tell me, why did you have to come all the way out here? Bishop asked as they got out of the car. You see, my mom left her armor in the bunker in the back of the barn. She only wore her suit once. It's one of the last suits my father ever made. It's so high-tech it makes anything we do now look like child's play. But the Iron Man project was fully discontinued within a year, and all expansions on the equipment were abandoned, including the war machine tech. That was indeed Stark Industries. While many weapons and drones have been built since the low-stakes weapons in the Iron Man form are copyrighted by Stark Industries and cannot be manufactured without Stark's seal of approval by the company. My mom would never give it, so those who build their suits definitely did it illegally, and that's why they look and function terribly compared to what my father was able to make. Morgan opened the barn and ate another burger. Even in a cave with scraps, my father built a better, stronger suit of armor than Marquez could even dream of. So what does he and Sean want? Anyway, they want to go back in time and undo the Avengers snapping people back from Thanos. They believe, as so do many, that Thanos was correct and the Avengers are criminals for undoing
it. There it is. She's pointing to a box in the back of the burn. Something about the world was peaceful when half the population was gone. Morgan continued. Kate just nodded to this.
Okay, so a crazy villain, good to know. The box opened up. I had relics inside. In it was Pepper's Iron Man suit. Morgan smiled. With a few tweaks and some pin particles, this suit will be able to go back in time and stop them. Wait, go back in time? Why don't you just stop them before that? Kate asked. That would be what we're hoping for, but better to be safe. Sorry, Kate just nodded. Morgan got to work on the suit quickly, all the while eating her cheeseburgers. The next morning, Morgan woke up from the couch. She was very groggy and looked around the cabin. Suddenly, she saw Tony Stark standing there. I love you 3000, Tony had said. Suddenly, it deactivated. It was a hologram from Tony's old helmet, the same helmet that had his very last message for Morgan. She must have activated it. Spook her, but she needed a good scare right now. Morgan stood up as Kate walked into the room. What was that, she asked. Just a ghost from the past. Is there more cheeseburgers in the fridge? Morgan asked. Yeah, there's 3 more. I'm going to eat one, but you can have the last 2 before we hit the road. Morgan nodded as the sun shined through the window. Let me know how you like it so far in comments down below. Subscribe for more fanfic chapter.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.